Yes, it's a fact that Europe is facing a lot of problems, internal problems as well as external problems, even geopolitical problems, geopolitical challenges. Um, the, the population in Europe in relation to the population of Asia, of Africa, yeah, is diminishing, and the population in Africa and in India, in China, is growing, is increasing. That means that the role of Europe in geopolitics will diminish. The part of European economy, of the world economy, will be smaller than in the past, and one has to adapt Europe to all these challenges and problems. But according to Günther Verheugen, and I share his opinion, there's a chance to adapt in the right way and to ensure an important role of Europe also tomorrow. When we talk about Europe, we must talk about the whole of Europe. Günther Verheugen said very clearly, and I fully second this assessment, that European Union is not Europe, and Europe is not European Union. Europe is larger. European Union is an important institution in Europe, is an important institution for European politics, but it is not Europe. Europe is larger, and one of the ways out of the crisis, of the poly-crisis, how Jean-Claude Juncker called it, is to use the potential of the whole of Europe, including a new European security architecture based on the Charter of Paris of 1990, which is more or less forgotten in the governments of Europe, but one should revive the Charter of Paris and use all the opportunities for pan-European cooperation and to find the own way for Europe. More than 70 years after the end of the Second World War, we have still violence in Europe. We have violent conflicts, like in eastern Ukraine. And all partners, European Union as well as Russia and Ukraine, of course, itself, have to work hard to overcome the crisis, to stop the violence, to stop the killing, to improve the situation of the people living in eastern Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine will have to find a way how to deal with Crimea in the future. European Union can contribute, but can contribute only in cooperation with other partners. That means Russia alone cannot solve the problems, European Union alone cannot solve the problems. They need the other one, and they need Ukraine too. Ukraine must try harder to implement the Minsk Declaration. We have on the one hand the European Union, which is in the traditional part of Western and Central Europe. We have on the other hand the Eurasian Economic Union from Belarus, Russia, Central Asia. The Eurasian Economic Union is built after the model of the European Union, so it should be very clear, and Verheugen told that at the beginning it was in the intention, it was in the plans to have a close cooperation of European Union and the Eurasian Economic Union. Now it seems to be forgotten, and the European Commission for the moment is not really cooperating with the organs, with the institutions of the Eurasian Economic Union. But that should take place. And I would like to remind the Minsk Declaration of the four leaders, Hollande at the time, Merkel, Poroshenko, and Putin, that they feel committed to the vision of a united humanitarian economic space from Lisbon to Vladivostok, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. So let's take them by the words and ask them to implement this cooperation between the two unions. One should try to do it in, let's say, also cooperation with the transatlantic partners, but they have to accept that Europe has its own interests, its own security interests. And when the American president is reiterating every day, America first, he has to accept that Europe would say, okay, in your part of the world, America first. In our part, Europe first.